Hello friends, this is Durga again from ITversity, a one-stop shop to learn all the technologies. So as part of this video, we will see how we can actually read the data from orders and order items using STS or Eclipse where Scala IDE is already set up. So already we have set up Scala IDE and we have developed a word count program in one of my projects called Demo Spark Scala. So I will be opening that. I am opening STS. If you are following my videos, make sure you are in the right workspace and you open the project which you have developed the word count program. So this is my workspace, users Digadraju research live demos big data Spark Scala. Click on OK. It will take a while to be launched. So there are several projects in this, but I am more focused on Demo Spark Scala. So this is the word count program which we have. Let me close all these things. Okay, so I am going to source main Scala word count. So this is the program which we have seen earlier, and we have tested also. So we will be using the same project and will be creating our new module in that. So first I want to create a package. Right click on this, new package, retail. Okay, and in that I want to create a class, a Scala object with name average revenue daily. Okay, and click on finish. And we have to start with the main method. Okay, and we have to use the application.properties which we have used as part of the word count program. So for that we need to use the typesafe package, and also this is a Spark application, so we need to import Spark context and Spark conf also. If you directly come to this video and if you try to do whatever I am doing right away, it will not work. First you need to ensure that you have developed the word count program in which Spark is integrated with SBT, and also the typesafe config package is integrated with SBT, and we have tested it thoroughly as part of this word count program. Unless you did that, if you come to this directly, it will not work out. So if you are if you have directly come to this video, go to my blog and go to www.itversity.com topic, okay, or more than topic, click on lessons. There is a lesson called Apache Spark with Scala which have several topics in my blog, and you can click on you can go to this lesson www.itversity.com/lessons/Apache Spark with Scala. Okay, go to this URL and then you have the instructions about setting up Scala and SBT, set up Scala IDE for Eclipse, develop Spark apps with Scala IDE, Spark context and Spark configuration. This Spark context and configuration actually have the integration with integration of Spark with SBT, and also the typesafe config with SBT and also Eclipse. Unless you do that, if you directly come to the current topic, which is read and write, read the data from orders and order items, you will not be able to develop the way I am doing. Okay, so make sure you go through those things. So we need to copy paste these 3 lines. Okay, so first line is we are trying to import Spark context and Spark conf. Second one is we are trying to import configuration so that we can read from application.properties, which is in source main resources, to determine several parameters like what is the deployment master, whether we want to deploy it in local mode or yarn client mode. And third one is Apache Hadoop FS, so that we can actually validate the input path and also replace the output path if there is a conflict about the output path. When it comes to input path, we want to validate that path exists or not. So for that code snippet also, go to word count. You can copy paste, you can safely copy paste all these lines. Okay, up to here. Or you can even modularize and invoke that method directly. Now go to average revenue daily and paste those lines here, and make sure you change the application name. Our application name is average revenue daily. We are trying to give the more readable name, and then we are trying to validate whether the input path exists. And when it comes to output path, we are trying to recreate delete the existing directory so that the program does not complain that directory already exists. Okay, if you want to change the functionality, you can change it the way you want. Now we will get into the rest of the stuff. Now our average revenue daily is integrated with Spark context and configuration, and now we will be able to do whatever we want. So before actually start writing directly in the program, what you can do is you can right click on the project, which is demo Spark Scala, go to Scala here, and then say create Scala interpreter in demo Spark Scala. Okay, now you can see the Scala interpreter. You can do whatever you want. Means you can execute the Spark based commands and all those things as part of the command line interface or interpreter. Okay, so now let us understand our where our data is. Our data is under research data retail underscore db. So this is my base directory. Okay, I am creating a URL for this. I am creating a variable val URL equal to, it's a string type variable. Okay, now we can use this one to actually determine the path for our table. Let's say our table name is orders. Okay, and then first I want to create I want to read the data from orders table. So for that we have to give val. Val is immutable variable in Scala. If you want to make it to mutable variable, then you have to use var. But most of the cases when we try to develop Spark based applications, we will define the variables as val only. And when it comes to Scala based variable definition, we don't need to give the type of the variable such as integer and all those things. It will inherit automatically. In this case, I am trying to create an RDD type of variable. The name will be orders RDD because I am trying to read the orders data, and then I am trying to use first of all I need to create the Spark context here. The way you can create the Spark context is, first you can do the same thing the way you are doing as part of your program, but you will not be able to read the environment variables. Okay, and then set master local. I want to run it in local. Okay, first I need to import these things. Okay, now I can actually copy set master local. Here we will be able to only run in local, so I'm using it as local, and then I'm creating the Spark context object. It will take a while to create the Spark context object. Once the Spark context object is created, now we can actually start reading the data. So in this case, I want to use sc.text file. So if you type sc dot and okay, here the tab does not work. What you can do is, you can, once you validate the input path and output path, you can type sc dot, and you will see all the available parameters here. Here we are trying to read the data. So sorry, not the parameters, but the functions which takes parameters. So there are many functions, but most important functions are text file to read the data from text files, sequence file to read data from sequence files, Hadoop file to read data which is supported by Hadoop old API, and new API Hadoop file to support the Hadoop file formats provided as part of the new API. So if you go to my blog, here I have explained. So Spark context provides several options to read the data. Text file is to read the text data, sequence file, object file, Hadoop file, old API, Hadoop input formats, new API, Hadoop file. So out of these available options to read the data, depending upon the type of the data, we need to use the appropriate file format. In this case, Spark itself gives an interface called the API called text file. If our input data is of type text, then we can use text file. If we go to the terminal and go to the retail DB and go to orders or order items, you can open this file, and this is nothing but text data, alphanumeric data. It has only numeric characters and alphabetic characters, hence it is a text data. So we can safely use text file, but you need to be familiar with the other formats also, because if you go to the certification exam or if you go to the interview, they might ask for the other file formats that are supported by Spark, and these are the formats you can talk about. Text file is for text, sequence file is to read the sequence file, object file is to read the files which have objects stored in it, serialized objects stored in it, Hadoop file for old API, and new API Hadoop file for new API. So this is also very important. So if you are familiar with Hadoop, HDFS have two APIs. Okay, I'm going there. One is org.apache.hadoop. Okay, let me do this actually. Hadoop API text input format. Okay, it will take you to the latest API. You can actually say frames to show on the left. Okay, and if you see, there is a package called org.apache.hadoop.mapred, and it has input formats. This is the old API. Old API means the package which they have started with, and then they felt that it is not very readable, and also there are some issues, serious issues, or issues with respect to performance and other things. Hence they came up with the new API also. So in this case, if I search for text input format, okay, let us scroll down a little bit here. You can see there are two classes text input format. One is this one, which is mapred, and the other one is this one, arg.apache.hadoop.mapreduce.lib.input. So both are same, but the earlier one is using old API, and this one is using new API. and going forward you should use only the new API. There could be some applications already developed using the old API, but if you are trying to develop new applications, whether it is MapReduce applications or Spark based applications, Spark also use some of the Hadoop APIs, and if you have to use file formats that are supported by Hadoop, such as if you go here, if you click on file input format, you will see known subclasses. So there is a combined file input format, there is a fixed length input format, there is a key value text input format, there is the inline input format, there is sequence file input format, there is text input format. So text input format is same as sc.text file. Sequence file input format is same as sc.sequence file or spark context.sequence file. On top of that, Hadoop also provides combined file, fixed length, key value, inline, etc. So if you have to use these formats, then you have to use the API called new API Hadoop file, or even Hadoop file. With the Hadoop file, you will get the same classes from the old API. With new API Hadoop file, you will get the same classes from the new API. Okay. So these are the available formats. So as part of the certification, if they ask to use new API Hadoop file, you should be able to use those things without any issues. Okay. I will try to write the blog a little bit later, but to learn the core Spark, it is not highly relevant at this time, but you should be familiar that Spark can work with Hadoop file input formats, and these two are the APIs which you should use. That being said, now we have to decide which one should use. In this case, it's very straightforward. We have to use text file. So here I am saying sc.text file, and already I have given the URL or base URL. Okay, then slash, then table name. So I am trying to create the path, a string for our path of orders, and hit enter. Now it is pointing to this one. This RDD of type string is pointing to this path: users D Gadiraju, research, data, retail DB, orders. And we will see it's a directory, it's not the file name. We didn't give the till the file name, we have given only till the directory name. So even if there are multiple files in that directory, it will be read. And then we can actually preview also. So in this case, I didn't create the variable. Let me create the variable val orders RDD equal to hit enter, and then orders RDD dot take of 10. Take is a very simple action API. Take is an action API. It's not a transformation API. It's an action API. When you say take, immediately the program will execute. And then for each println, so I am trying to get first 10 records of orders and trying to print over here, and we can see the data. So our code snippet sc.text file is working. Okay, so we can copy paste that one to here. Okay, but here we don't have URL. Instead we have input path. So we have to give the input path here, and then we can say orders here, which is the table name. So now orders RDD is created. I want to copy the same line and paste it over here and give another RDD, which is order items, and let us see the directory name. Directory name for order items is order underscore items. So I have to give order underscore items here. Okay, so now we have used sc.text file or text file API on Spark context to read both orders and order items. Once the data is read, we have to further process the data. We based upon our design. Our design is to first filter out orders that are not in completed status, and then do the rest of the stuff. So we will go step by step, and we will see those things as part of the next video or next several videos. We will try to implement our design, which is as per our requirements, or our problem statement, which is to get average revenue on daily basis. That being said, I hope you're enjoying the content. If you like this video, or if you have to provide the feedback, or if you have to give the rating, please do so. Especially when it comes to rating, please give me the best rating, unless you think otherwise. If you have any concerns, please write those. I will try to come up with the solution or the workaround or justification, and based upon your satisfaction levels, you can give the rating which you think I deserve. That being said, thank you. Bye.